Good evening, Sean.
Hi, Dave.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going pretty well.
Good.
Um, yeah. How are you?
I am doing all right. Yes, I am doing all right. I really wanted to have a drink with this stream, but I'm actually not feeling all that well, so I'm not actually going to be drinking with this stream, which seems a bit of a shame because this is Epic Tavern.
Yeah.
Epic Tavern tonight. So,
Yeah.
but I believe you have a drink.
Yes, which I'm trying to take a photo of right now
Nice.
for the Twitterverse,
Yeah.
or wherever we're going to put this.
Let's start
Yeah.
with Twitter and build from there.
Yeah, that's what they all say. That's how you and that's how you make money with indie games,
There
right?
you go. Indie Game Devs 101. Start with Twitter
Yeah.
and build
Start with
from
Twitter
there. You
and
heard
build.
it here first, people.
Yeah.
So yeah, but otherwise I'm doing okay. Looking forward to playing
Yeah.
some
So
Epic Tavern.
everything you said you weren't feeling well, but
Yeah, but nothing too sketchy considering the current times.
yeah, I
You
feel
don't
like
have to
if
worry.
someone says they're not feeling well, it's like
Yeah, it has a new
yeah,
meaning right now, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
it does a bit.
So yeah, nothing like that.
Good.
Rest assured.
Good.
But yeah, just not up to a beer. But I do have, in honor of the game we're playing tonight, I'm drinking my water from a stein.
Nice.
And it's not
nice.
just any stein; it's a Game of Thrones stein. So
a Game of Thrones stein.
Yeah. This is a Stark stein. Because you can see the wolf there. So I'm more of a Targaryen man myself, but this is actually my partner's stein. I stolen that for this evening because it's a better one. She got me a really cheap knockoff Targaryen one, and the stuff just came off. So I'm using the real merchandise. Buy your loved ones real merchandise, people. So that's how I'm honoring our Epic Tavern evening. Yeah. So
you're going to ask me what cocktail I've got?
Yeah. What are you drinking, Sean?
I'm drinking, and I haven't even tried it yet. It's a coffee walnut old fashioned.
Nice.
Which I've made up myself.
So have you? Is that a coffee? Is that some kind of wash?
No, it's not. No. So what it is, it's so bourbon, 2 ounces bourbon, Eagle Rare, rich simple syrup, which is like Demerara simple syrup as well, walnut bitters, and then like a bar spoon of like Mr. Black's coffee liqueur, which is like a cold brew coffee.
Okay.
Liqueur, and it's pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I've got like a peanut on a spear,
nice,
as a garnish. But yeah, sorry, that was distracting because I was trying to take a photo and like be present
about it.
Yeah, at the same time. But so Epic Tavern.
So yeah. So for those who don't know, Epic Tavern is a tavern management game that, as it says on the screen here, is currently in development. They are in early access. They've been in early access for a while, it looks like, from Steam.
Yeah, like how long? When did we say?
Well, it seems to suggest in September 2017, but that might not be the case. It might not have been in early access for quite that long.
Yeah, I think that date probably is accurate on Steam.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just like small caveat. Yeah. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Quite how long it's been. It might have been on in a different guise, whatever. But obviously, that's September 2017. That's a fair old while ago. And they're incredibly active. Hyperkinetic, the studio that's behind Epic Tavern, incredibly active on Steam. Like we were checking out the Steam page earlier about what they were doing, because this is obviously these streams we play all kinds of different games and do it for all kinds of different reasons and stuff. But like one of the kind of reasons we brought certain games recently is because they've been in early access, and we want to learn from it. We want to learn from what other studios are doing, what they're not doing, and what we can take away from that, as well as playing and supporting other games. So like right from the start, like I've just booted up Epic Tavern, and it gives you kind of this info screen, I suppose, and also opportunities to to join their Discord and go to their Steam page and so on and so forth. So
yeah.
Kind of, telling you, yes, it's still in development. Yes, here are some of the things that have been changed recently. And, but
do you think that's something we're going to want to do? Is have this kind of screen? Like I've seen a lot of early access games like have this kind of thing going on.
I think
game, right?
Yeah, I think it would need to. I hadn't really thought about it yet, but yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't want to. Whether or not it would be like that full splash screen, like it said there, or a bit more like their secondary screen has, which is this. You've got the build number, obviously, but also a
Evening,
news
Nacho.
feed. Evening, everyone. So, yeah, I mean, maybe this kind of thing is enough. I don't know. I mean, this gives them an opportunity to, to update this quite regularly and still have one major screen, perhaps, for that. And, as I said, this is probably going to have a bit more nuts and bolts to it than some of our other plays recently. But, I was intrigued by the fact that they've got these buttons down here as well. And, you can click to their roadmap. For those of you who might not know, this is their early access roadmap. So what they, when you put a game into early access on Steam these days, I'm pretty sure it's a stipulation, isn't it, Sean, that you have to put a roadmap in.
Well, no. So when you put your game on early access on Steam, you don't have to put a roadmap on, but what you do is you have to explain why your game is in early access.
Okay.
And that's something obviously we will need to think about.
Yes.
And like how we write that. Yeah.
So okay. So yeah. But then you can flick through their news feed, see what they've done recently, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of neat. I have played I mean, as you can see, it's not very long earlier, just to kind of get myself a little bit familiar with the UI and things like that, so you didn't have to see me faffing around too much. But I certainly haven't seen a lot of the game yet. So I'm going to boot up a new save. I doubt we'll come back to this one or anything like that. It's not particularly exciting. So, so you're kind of seeing it from the start. So obviously this is.
Oh, we get to name a tavern.
We do get to name a tavern. Immediately, you're pleased by that, right? Like, that's a benefit. So, it's obviously Pillbug related, but if you've got a kind of favourite pub...
like the Crouching something, or the...
So, I'll show you a couple of the random ones.
Oh, right? Okay. How good are the random taverns? Yeah, like...
Ye Olde Vagrant
and Fairy.
The Angel and Wayfarer... Braggart and Vagrant Rest. So they're all kind of the Welland Camp. They're all kind of like fairly standard, right?
Can we do that? Something with that? So we start with
the Pill and Bug.
Yeah.
We like that?
The Pill and Bug. I quite like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's our time.
Just an update on the cocktail, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Do keep us posted.
I like so for those who've just joined us, I have made it's a coffee walnut old fashioned, which I've made up myself. It's really good. It's like coffee cake. It's like drinking coffee. Oh man, like coffee and walnut cake. What did I say it was? It's a coffee and walnut old fashioned. So yeah, sorry.
It's okay. They didn't need to know
how I
the
get
story.
when I'm drinking.
Yeah, I see.
It's the same as I'm drinking coffee. Like, it's just, I love the fact that there's like liquid that you can put in your mouth, and you get like all these different flavors over the course of like 10 minutes. Anyway,
nice. Okay, so whilst Sean was giving you a tour of his mouth, the game was describing like its background story, which is there's this kind of I can't remember the name of the things. They're the Netherkin or something like that. We'll see them in a moment.
Yeah.
And like ages and ages ago, like there was a portal and it was closed, and now it's sort of opened. But then this is 10 years ago. All right. So for those of you who are keeping narrative timeline, this is 10 years previous. So this is like a prologue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the tutorialization is in a pro. So they've done the thing we've often talked about of like, do you want your tutorial to be related to the story, or do you want to make sure those things are very separate?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I think that's so. Yeah, and you'll see why this is kind of interesting, and they do a good job of making this feel different and so on and so forth, and making it make narrative sense as well as kind of helpful gameplay sense.
Yeah.
So this is our character, this character sheet, I suppose. Like you have a lot of info here to start with, a lot of stats, a lot of numbers.
And like immediately this is not what I'm expecting from the Steam page, because like the Steam page says to me it's like a management game, kind of like Theme Hospital.
Sure.
And so this, I don't know,
yeah, that's a totally fair observation. There's certainly something slightly else going on here, in terms of, where you would start. Like I guess you were probably expecting to start by building a table or whatever, and and so on and so forth. But this is actually an adventurer, a level 10 necromancer, in fact.
Right. So that isn't you.
No, that's not me.
Okay. So this is okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Who is me is an interesting question in this game, and we'll get to that in a sec, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a little bit of dialogue here. I will read the dialogues out because obviously that's that it's not voice acted. So, one last toast to the Ravenger 4. You know I hate that name, Merrick. You and Lykatia are the only Ravengers. It makes us all sound like we're all. This is a different character, Blaze Evershadow, who's a level 10 assassin. I didn't pick it Blaze. People just started calling us that. You getting senile in your old age? You've spent half a year trying to get that name to stick. Bottoms up, kids. If Ignatius is to be believed, the Flaming Gate won't hold much longer. And where's Thorgrin? Okay, so now we get sent to a facilities management menu.
Okay.
So Tavern's facilities cater to the needs of its heroes and ensure that they are ready to face the perils of adventuring. Now, however, is the time to fight. Pull Thorgrin from his bath. So, you notice this is in the tutorial mode. You'll see a lot of this. There's a text box with a big green arrow.
Yeah,
and we kind of talked a bit about that, haven't we? Because we've got this, element, but I'm not sure we're quite at the big green arrow stage yet.
No, haven't got like that's an interesting. What do people like? It'd be interesting to see what do people think about that, like having like a big green arrow.
So for me, like if you're asking people, as in me, as in the
people, as in anyone, as in you, as in people who are watching,
would that be like
the royal.
The royal we. I think for me it depends on the complexity of the rest of the screen. Like they're showing us quite a lot of other bits and bobs of information here about like total beds and spirit recovery, which I have absolutely no idea about at this point in the game. But it shows me the main screen, but it wants me to do a very, very specific thing.
Yeah.
So rather than click over here or whatever, or do something over here, it just says, look, you can only do this, so do this. But it's interesting, therefore, that it still shows you this menu.
Yeah. So like another way they could have done it was they could have put some kind of filter on to kind of maybe take the opacity down of everything that isn't important.
Possibly, yeah. But I mean, there is nothing better than a big flashing arrow, really.
Yeah, that's true.
To tell you, look, this is what we want you to do. And it's not just what we want you to do. Okay, so I can actually kind of go.
So you can ignore the tutorial. So like Nacho said, like he thinks that the flashing green arrow is overkill and the buttons should speak for themselves. And I think that's a really interesting point, because if you've designed your UI well, which in itself, as Nacho knows, is like a really hard job. Like, it is that you would like, that's a UX thing, right? And that's people's entire jobs.
Very true.
Is that
I suppose the slight caveat I would have to that is that this is a very much a pathed tutorial moment. So in that sense, it's you're not trying to draw attention to this button or that button every time. It's mainly just so that you've for me, I would question like why we're even in this menu anyway. Like, do we need to get Thorgrim back out there? But like they've decided to show you that menu screen.
Yeah.
And I wonder maybe if that's like a bit like what you were saying, Sean, about kind of being a bit surprised that this is the opening for the game because you were expecting a management game.
Yeah.
And maybe that moment is actually just a quick heads up and say, look, don't worry, it is a management game.
Yeah.
And we're going to reassure you about that. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You sure you don't need another hour or two in there, Thorgrim? Hate to rush you. But cut a doomed dwarf some slack. Of all your half-assed plans, this may be the worst, says Blaze. You have a better idea? Can't say that I do, but that doesn't make yours any less awful. We're getting quite a lot of story here.
Yeah.
And we agreed. My plan is like, Catcher, do you have the letter and deed? Right here, Merrick. We are abandoning our child.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of a big moment, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that kind of turned.
Yeah. We're doing what has to be done. Besides, we've survived worse than this. Okay, not really, but if you die first, I'll raise you as a banshee or something. A banshee? At least make me a vampire. I would look amazing with fangs. Deal. All right, people, gear up. So, fair bit of banter, fair bit of story. Whether or not that's what you come to this kind of game for is it's a really interesting question. But they're trying to insert a bit of humor into it as well as just crunching the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So now your adventurers need high level skills to take on tough quests. You can use equipment to boost their skills and allow access to unique abilities while questing.
Right. So this almost feels like you're managing a party of adventurers rather than a pub.
Quite right, Sean. Quite right. So I think ultimately that's what this game is those two things. You're managing a pub and you're managing parties of adventurers. Yeah. So I don't know enough about the game yet to suggest which one takes precedence and which one feels more important and which more engaging, and are they equal, or is one more bigger than the other, and so on and so forth. But we'll see it. We'll see it anyway. So it's it's telling me how to manage this early on with the big green arrow effect. We're going to click on Thorgrim, and then we notice he's got some armor, he's got an accessory, but he doesn't have a weapon.
Yeah.
Even for a cleric, that's pretty poor show.
Something that's worth pointing out about this approach to tutorial, and this is a real thing. The green arrows, it's a very specific scripted way of doing a tutorial.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very they had to make this in its own thing, right? And that's time and resource and everything. I think that's worth bearing in mind.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for us, it's like we've been talking about, like, should our tutorial be in a whole separate zone? So it's a whole separate area. I suppose what this does is it reproduces what the normal game is. But it does it in a very scripted prologue area. And we'll go back, and you get kind of a clean wipe, don't you? You get like a slate wipe, or we will. So it's quite a different thing. So all we had to do there was equip one weapon, but we can poke around, like if you want to know the roster power for like different powers and like what this might mean. I mean, we don't really know what much of this stuff means yet. But
personal story. Interesting.
So you need like friendships to unlock those. Yeah, they're all locked. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss this place, says Thorgrim. Pace yourself, dwarf. We aren't dead yet. I know. I just enough of that talk, Catcher. Are you ready? Sorry, that was actually read incredibly wrongly. But I'll put that down to the grog. No, but that's not apt to change. Let's go. Okay, so we get a quest.
Yeah. Okay.
For the first time in 1400 years, the Flaming Gate has been breached and a horde of Netherkin, there we go, that's what I was missing earlier. A horde of Netherkin are pouring into the realm. Fight your way into the Nethercat Mountains and use the artifact provided by Ignatius Mordred to seal the gate before the world is lost.
Okay.
Doesn't sound too difficult, does it? Prologue. So now we get like a map screen.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. No, what you were expecting. And we get like a list of available quests, some other information as well. So click on there, and it tells us where we need to go, and also that we need to actually join our peeps up to our party.
It's a cool. I like the map.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of what we often refer to as juicy.
Yeah.
It feels like there's like nice effects going on, and feels like substantial, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's made what is essentially a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like this is a lot of numbers, right? There's a lot of numbers here that at the moment don't really mean a huge amount to most players, but like as I said, I've played a little bit.
Yeah, so where does your eye go in this picture straight away? Like it's busy, right?
It is very busy, yeah, and I think that's something you're going to see a lot of. There's a lot of text, and it is very busy. My eye naturally, perhaps because of that, goes to this story quest bit here with the flailing tentacles. Partly because it's the bit that's moving the most on the screen, but also partly, I suppose, because it's the least cluttered bit, which is interesting because most of the time, obviously, most people's eyes start like either dead center or top left, right? Like that's often like we go left to right in the Western world because we read left to right.
Yeah,
so often we go that way, but that's my eye is drawn there because of the movement and because of the cleanness of the image.
Yeah.
What about you, Sean? Where was your?
I was the same. I was like tentacles coming out of a thing, and then like it's like, oh no, the scary stuff's on the left hand side of the screen. And then there's lots of I joke like intelligent, like like this looks. I've made games with horrible UIs, and I'm not saying this is horrible, but like I've made games with like spreadsheets.
Yeah, info heavy UI, and I think there's obviously certain types of games that love as much information on any given screen as possible, right? Like here, I don't have to really click down to find out, although I can, it seems, any more information. Like I'm assuming most of the information I need is here. I guess like as a prologue, I'm not really sure what information is the most important.
I suppose what's interesting to me is like at this stage, you don't know what any of this information means.
No. But am I okay with that?
You just have to click that green accept button that's right in the center, right? That's what it's telling you. But and I guess so. Okay, right. So let's not dissect what everything on the screen is, I guess. But what am I learning? Like I'm clicking. I'm going to click accept.
Yeah. And that's okay. Like so, I'll accept that, and then I have interestingly like I've set the party, so I can go back into that and like mess around with that if I want to. But then to actually get here and get going, I have to go forth on my new adventure. And then you get the same story again, just in case you missed it, and you get the kind of quasi loading screen. So, the Epic Tavern prologue. This is the story of the legendary heroes who saved the land of Bior. The results of their final ride will affect the story world and change the characters available in your tavern.
Interesting.
Okay, so I thought you'd like that. A bit there. So we're okay. So the party sets forth. There's a lot of this. Like it feels like at points it's telling you the same thing multiple times, so you don't miss it. Right?
Yeah.
So you have like, what's going on? Oh, the party's setting forth. Okay, and then you get like this story tab here as well with some XP.
Yeah.
Again, lots of information, right?
Is setting forth like this game's Oscar Mike?
I guess
like Call of Duty is just like everybody's just like Oscar Mike, Oscar Mike, Oscar Mike. but here it's set forth.
Could be, yeah. So we then get events along the way, like any good RPG, right? Like you can't travel.
Random encounters,
yeah,
or is it?
Yeah. Okay, so like I have seen this, so let's I played through this once, so I'll be able to hopefully be able to say whether or not it is randomized or if it's scripted. That'll be testing my memory from before though. But so you get a conversation event, which I guess is a kind of event type, and the catcher scans the scene outside of the tavern where packs of netherkin, their skin the color of ash, wreak havoc in all directions. We'll help who we can on the way, but reaching the gate is our priority, she says. So long as that's open, battles out here mean nothing. Mount up. We ride for the nether caps. So I can do stuff along the way as well. Like I can spend time searching and foraging. But
what does 5 SPs, 5 skill points?
I believe it's spirit points.
Okay.
Which is the blue bar.
Yeah.
But we're pretty like.
Have you played what's that game where is very similar to this? Darkest Dungeon, is it?
I have played Darkest Dungeon. Yes, I played the heck out of Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, it is quite similar. I mean, there's some interesting differences with obviously with the pub mode, which we'll get to in a sec. But yeah, you're right. Like I mean, I think with that one, I suppose it's a bit more like the Final Fantasy combat, or Final Fantasy VII, should I say, combat of picking moves and things like this. You know, combat like having rolls and stuff like that. I mean, whether or not this becomes more like Darkest Dungeon as you go through, maybe. But what we're going to see here now is the combat system, and this is very different.
Yeah.
To something like Darkest Dungeon. Or at least it's skinned very differently. Now, whether or not the stuff going on in the background's very different, I think it feels very different. Okay?
Yeah.
So this took me a little while to get my head round. But you have every character has a kind of a set of the same kinds of actions, right?
Yeah.
Like balanced, aggressive, defensive, precise, and cautious. And each of these, okay, so as you say here, as it shows here on the tooltip, there are no bonuses or penalties to a balanced action. If you're aggressive, it has a higher power percentage, but a lower chance to hit or chance to succeed. Okay. Defenses is less power, but more defense, and I don't really know what that means yet. And then precise is a weaker thing, but a better chance of it, and cautious is a weaker effect, but failure. So when you roll a 1, the equivalent, it still affects 50%. Now, what you're trying to do is get to this number. Okay, so this event difficulty is 96. So
right, okay.
So I think, again, I've only done this a little bit. I think you're looking at that power number and saying you've got 65% chance to add 22 to the party's total.
Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. So what I've been doing is looking along here and seeing what's a balanced big power, right? So that I could potentially, if this works, I add 72, and then I'm pretty good. Pretty good. So I have no idea if that's a strategy or whatever. It's just something I looked at. So then it rolls some numbers, and it tells you here. I thought you'd like this.
108.
I did get 108 because I got an excellent. All right.
Okay. So. Wow. Yeah. There's an equation there.
It gives you the numbers to crunch.
Yeah.
All right. So now what I don't know is whether or not because I've succeeded. All right. I still have to set an action for all the others.
Yeah.
So, but I've beaten the event. So, is there a bigger benefit to the outcome if I do even better? Right? So, should I be going aggressive or precise? Is
there any kind of heal part? What?
I haven't really I haven't taken damage yet, and so on and so forth. So this is all I've got. These kinds of these particular actions. So But again, I don't know if it's better to say, oh, like I've succeeded, so I could just put anything in, or if it's actually better to push my luck more to be like aggressive. I have no idea. So, I mean, you could just like go balanced all along the top and like just like bop. That's a fail. If he adds nothing, balanced, all fail again, and an excellent. All right, so I succeed. 141 versus 96 tells me like the different things, and then after that you get a little bit of story, right? As the others rush into battle and hack the invaders, Merrick roams the streets, gesturing at every corpse he sees, human or Netherkin. One by one, they rise and shuffle forward. He orders them to protect the orphanage, and the heroes hurry on their way. Did I read about the orphanage?
It was in the top.
I didn't. Sorry, everyone. I missed that bit. So,
okay.
Help us. A frail old man bellows from the window of the orphanage. He is immediately pounced on by a Netherkin and torn to pieces. As the heroes rush forward, Merrick barks, "Get to the children!" I'll conjure up some reinforcements. Okay, so sorry about that. I got too excited by explaining the actions.
To be honest, I was kind of happy that you missed the whole old man getting murdered
in an orphanage. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
So at least you know it worked out kind of well enough from them. So here's the results.
Not really.
No, it didn't. No.
Pretty horrible day all around.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think this is it's a world under siege, so I think it's going to be pretty dark. But the important thing for us is that we got XP. So the party receives XP. Merrick lost.
That's all right then.
That's okay. Yeah.
I'm sure that will comfort someone.
Yeah. In the orphanage, they'll be fine with this. So Blaze has taken 10 HP of damage, right? So you see it up here. He's taken 10. I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why. Like we don't get a sense of why that's.
But Blaze didn't even fail.
No. So it doesn't seem to be linked to that. But I might be wrong in some way, because that's a 33. Maybe that's not very many. I don't know. Well, it's not very many, but I don't know if it's like poor enough to then be the one that takes damage, or if it's random.
Yeah,
don't know.
So it's interesting that like the start of this tutorial was very much like, here's the big green arrow pointing to thing to click on, and now we're like, well, why did that happen?
Yes, you're right. You're not told necessarily why things are happening, and there's no green arrow now, right? Like now I actually have like quite a few options. I could.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I don't know. Could I balls this up? Like I didn't really pay attention to that travel event.
But is that okay? It's an interesting thing of like how sometimes it's something because we make quite complicated games, I would say.
Sure.
Like Cyber 28 probably wasn't really, but
no,
we added something that made it complicated. I don't know, complicated maybe is unfair to us, but like it we make games that have quite layers, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So some people have told us they really like discovering how those layers interact for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And where's that line between? Like, I guess if we weren't on stream talking about it, we'd probably just you'd be clicking things and going through and just see what happens.
Yes.
Eventually, you might learn those things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And I think that's one element of why, like, a prologue feeling tutorial helps, because I think I've said this before in our conversation, is that if I balls this up somehow, like royally, at least I get the sense that I get to restart when the game starts proper, and I've got a sense of like, oh, okay, so like I've learned something from my mistakes, and I'm not necessarily penalized. There may well be some penalty to getting this wrong, and maybe you can't even fail. I don't know, but the whole kind of certain things will be available depending on how well you do kind of line that you got earlier. My guess is it's like actually you always do okay, but it like what face that produces later in the game changes maybe. So we've got another event. It's another combat event. A giant Netherkin is I'm going to read the story this time. A giant Netherkin is wreaking havoc in Merchant Row, hurtling entire carts around while smaller nether creatures pounce on the fleeing vendors. The catcher throws a look at Merrick, who sighs, "Be quick. Take out the big one and I'll use him to kill the rest." This necromancer's like
I see. Okay, I was about to say, how does that work? And then necromancer. Okay,
yeah, he's into raising the dead a lot. That's like his shtick. So again, like I'm looking at like who's got good balanced powers for this, and I think this is all based on their separate stats and what kind of event this is.
Right. So that's changed from previously.
Yeah, I think so. Although it did turn out that Thorgrim...
What if you mouse over the weapons? Does it tell you like how that?
So it certainly, it tells you like a bit about what these stats are. We'd have to go into the party details and stuff like that. But like, so if I go balanced here, okay, so our balanced big number has failed. All right, so I've got another balanced here. I'm going to try that. Okay, so he's succeeded, but nothing special. So he's at 69.
Yeah.
So we're 69 out of 100. So, like, even if this works, that I need both my balanced to work here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of tempted to go aggressive to start with.
Yeah.
That puts us over if this works. Oh, no, it doesn't. Math, Dave. I thought that would put us to 102, but it puts us 90.
Well, we're pretty close.
We are close.
It's like it's interesting. It's like fail or zero. It's either 0 or. But then you can do the cautious, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking for this one.
So you've won because failure still hits at 50% power.
Yeah. Which it did. So yeah. So there you go. They like playing the numbers game with this. Like. Is a thing, right?
Yeah. And you got some loot.
I did, yes. So I'll scroll down, read through it. The catcher unleashes a volley of arrows into the giant netherkin, who whirls around and stomps towards them. Blaze flanks the critter, scaling its back and tearing its throat out with her dagger. Merrick raises the monstrosity as a zombie and commands it to obey an awestruck merchant.
How do you feel about the fact that story is nothing like what just happened?
What do you mean? Yeah, you're right. What I don't know, okay, is, I mean that was your impression, right? Like,
yeah.
Whether or not, what would be interesting is, and this might be the case, like it might be happening this way, is that whether or not those story nodes, so Lakacha unleashes a volley of arrows, right?
Yeah.
If you look at my Lakacha, she got a success. So maybe, like, because she got that success, that story node is in there.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm
maybe,
wrong. That is actually what happened. No, it's Blaze that flanks.
Yeah, Blaze flanks the critter, scaling its back and tearing its throat out with her dagger. Now, she failed, but she did cautiously fail.
Yeah.
So she added 10 to the result. Now, again, I don't know if these systems are interacting at all. Like, I mean, it could be maybe if you succeeded with Merrick and Thorgrim and Lakacha and Blaze failed, it doesn't change and it's still just the storyline.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if that was not the case, right? Like if it was somehow interacting. Because like Thorgrim isn't mentioned there, right? Like, and he got a 0.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe those systems are actually interacting with each other. So we got an item. The Ring of Persuasion is unlocked. Now I don't have an access to it yet or anything to do with it. I don't think. Like I can't rest. Can't go into an inventory. I don't believe. I think once you're on it, you're on it. So we continue. Conversation of 8. With a wave of his hand as they ride through the carnage, Merrick animates a half-dozen dead netherkin as zombies and commands them to attack their brethren. You need to teach me that trick one day, Blaze says. So Merrick loses SP, I'm assuming because it's like taking it out of him, and the party receives experience. Oh, we're getting closer to the cave. We got another combat. A ragged group of Stonemore clan orcs, several of their number laying dead around them, fight shoulder to shoulder, defending the entrance to a crossroads in from a pack of wolf-like netherkin. Blaze kicks her horse into a gallop and rushes to reinforce them. Interestingly, like Blaze is the orc, by the way, so of our party. So I wonder if like that's kind of seeing each other as well. I don't know. So we've got 98. And scan my balanced. Does seem like these two do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so Balance to success. So I feel pretty good about success, so I'm going to go try and be aggressive about it. There we go. So, heroic, which is even better than excellent.
Oh, nice particles.
Yeah, they are nice, aren't they? And then just going to get precise. Okay. So Blaze leans down from a saddle, dissecting a two-headed wolf with her shadow cuts dirk as she passes. Reinvigorated by the new allies, the orcs rush forward, chopping down the rest of the beasts. Merrick reanimates their corpses with a wave of his hand, as he always does, and commands them to obey the orcs. Good doggies. Item
so in
unlocked.
that case, he didn't Merrick.
He
failed and had 0, but still he was in the story.
I think, if I'm honest, and again, I want to give them the benefit of that because I think it would be a cool system, but I have a feeling it probably isn't. These two systems probably aren't interacting or related in that way. The important thing is that you pass the event. It's not necessarily how it's done. But it might be. It might still be. I'm just... Conversation event. So many innocent lives lost, Thorgrim says, kneeling next to the broken corpse of a young child. Snap out of it, Blaze yells, smacking the dwarf on the back of the head. Get on your damn horse. Now. So there's a bit of a drama. Drama going. Okay, so another combat. Three battered soldiers defending a large medical tent are pounced and torn apart by a pack of wolf-like netherkin. Over here, Blaze yells to draw the creatures away from the tent. The largest of them snarls at her, revealing a nightmarish maw of jagged teeth. Uh-oh, the assassin says, unsheathing her shadow cat's dirk. So, again, I don't see... yell if you see a better strategy than what I'm going for, but...
I don't... It makes sense, right? Because you get given... Okay, so here's an interesting thing. What if they made a decision to show you the result of each of those before you then decide the next one?
Sure.
Versus you have to decide them all at once.
Yeah, so it's not like a programming game in that sense, is it? It's more like a turn-taking... Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII, I suppose, or any later ones that have used turn-taking. So that you can respond to how well one character does by choosing a different action for another.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be... I mean, I guess that's a bit more dynamic in some ways than...
Well, it gives you... it feels... So the other way... So that if you didn't do it that way, I don't think it would feel very good. Because you'd expect... You wouldn't... Because people aren't very good at figuring out probabilities, right?
Sure.
So I think it would feel horrible if you did it the other way.
Yeah.
Because it would feel like you'd be annoyed. You'd feel like you were unlucky a lot. Whereas you can respond to what's going on.
Yes.
You can respond to the randomness, or not, as the case may be right now.
So I thought I was okay, and I wasn't. So again, probably Dave not doing enough maths. But it's interesting to show. I did that on purpose to show you what a fail looks like. Okay, so the heroes rush into the infirmary to find it overrun by Neverkin. The Catcher and Blaze wreak havoc with bow and blade, while Merrick and Thorgrim escort the wounded to a more defensible building, with nearly half are lost in the melee. Heroes continue on. We've taken a bunch of damage there. We still got XP. I'm assuming not as much as we would have got otherwise. But the price of failure doesn't seem to be that high.
Yeah.
Except maybe later on I haven't unlocked stuff. Maybe I've missed something from not doing that. Who knows? It could come back to bite me.
Yeah.
They're still pouring out the tunnels, Blaze says, looking down at the entrance to the nether-capped cave system from a rocky overhang. But I know another way. Watch your step. It's a bit, tricky. Okay, so now we've got a different kind of event, a survival event. You cannot be serious, Thorgrim says, looking at the narrow ledge with an 80-foot drop down to the rocks below. Blaze chuckles. Trust me, when have I ever steered you wrong? That was rhetorical, she says, raising a finger to ward off the dwarf's long string of examples. So, like, some people are not good at survival feats. Like, so Merrick is terrible at survival feats.
How do you know that?
Just because based on the power that he has, right? Like, and you will know that by, like, I guess when you've actually looked at your party a little bit more. There's like 4 different types of things they need to do. I think combat, survival, social, and something else. I think. Obviously, Blaze is really good at this. So, like, I'm tempted to try and make sure that she adds as much as possible.
Yeah.
Or like, is precise. Right. Okay. Well, she just does it for us. Right. So that's fine. So cautious. Wow, everybody did exceedingly well there.
yeah.
So, like, we absolutely crushed that. Now, I don't know if that means this XP number gets up more. If there's a base, like, for that or not. I don't know. Blaze hands Thorgrim one end of a rope and then dances across on the other side. Merrick and Lakacha follow. Thorgrim ties the rope around his waist and the others drag him reluctantly across the bridge. Across the
It's interesting, because you don't get the kind of full equation for the XP, do you?
No.
So you've not even got to the quest.
We're not even... No, this is just the journey there. There's a bunch of encounters. Okay, so outside the back entrance to the Nethercap cave system, Merrick addresses his companions while Thorgrim casts the last of his healing spells. Done enough by getting me here. If you want to leave now, I swear I will not hold it against you. Blaze chuckles. And let you get all the glory? Sorry, old man, we're in this.
Are they all going to sit around cooking stuff on the fire and like drinking?
It's the literal approach to the cave, right? So
yeah.
Everybody gets some healing, which is nice. Presumably, it's something like it's that pre-boss heal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the Ravager 4 step through the cave entrance and immediately spots Guardian, a nightmarish spider-like netherkin scuttling toward them on 8 human arms. Lovely. The heroes ready their weapons and fan out around it. 71.
I think I'd probably find that less scary than an actual spider. Like,
human arms.
Yeah, but the human's arms are less scary than spider legs.
Wow. Okay.
Like, at least I've seen arms at that size before. Whereas spider legs, like...
Interesting.
Nope.
Yeah. Don't destroy the head. I want this one, Merrick says to Lakacha. She nods, takes a slow breath, and lets an arrow fly, killing the nightmarish creature instantly with a hit to the throat. With a wave of his hand, the necromancer reanimates the monstrosity and orders it to guard the tunnel behind them. So that story, I'm pretty sure is exact. I remembered this one because it was like, oh my god, there's something about, it's quite a dramatic moment. So I remember that. I think that's the same all the time, as long as you succeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so now is like another type of counter. The mind puzzle with a bone-chilling howl. A large pack of mutant wolves enters from the side tunnel and takes up chase. A long straight passage opens into a large chamber ahead. The heroes must make a run for it. Interesting, your first mind puzzle is about running away. Like,
yeah. We're supposed. Yeah. What?
Why is that a mind puzzle rather than like a running puzzle?
How you're running away?
Yeah.
Is this? So is this kind of like modeling like the RPG? Like, what is it? I've not played many RPGs, but like pen and paper RPGs I'm talking about now. Like what's you do a roll for. You roll for stuff, don't you?
You do roll for stuff. That is correct.
I can't remember any.
You've successfully.
I just remember every room we went into, we were like, "Oh, roll for like
initiative." Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, you spotted a can.
Yeah.
And like
perception check, things like that.
Perception. Yeah. That's the one. I said that like I was making fun of it. I quite enjoyed it.
Sure.
As much as the DM didn't enjoy us.
I mean, what DM does enjoy their players really most of the time? If you're not pissing off your DM, I don't know if you're playing the game right.
Yeah, we were playing one of the ones where like it was set in like Prohibition America.
Oh, nice. Okay.
What I forget what it was. It was like a what's that thing with all the tentacles?
Oh, Lovecraft.
Yeah, it was a Lovecraftian type thing, and so we were just like, let's get in the car and drive somewhere. And like everyone, we all just paired off and got in cars and drove in opposite directions. And so he was like trying to figure out, oh god, you're over here on the beach, you're up here on the mountain somewhere talking to someone. Like, oh, look.
That's the role of the DM. You gotta expect the unexpected. I think with most players.
But is that what this is? So it's like these kind of
yeah, I guess it's like saying that not everything's going to be a fight. Yeah. There's going to be other skills that you're going to need as well. Okay, so stay left, Blaze yells as they run. The heroes safely avoid the traps, but many of the hounds aren't so fortunate. Straggler beasts are cut down by a bloody bit of fighting. So another combat. A gargantuan two-headed netherkin stands guard at the arch doorway on the far side of the chamber. A bright blue light flickers over the passage walls behind him. Flaming gate lies beyond, Thorgrim says with steely determination. Thorgrim mutters a quiet prayer and his hammer takes on a faint blue glow. Get it down where I can reach it, he roars, and Lycacha opens fire on its legs. The wounded giant stumbles to his knees and Thorgrim leaps forward, smashing one head then the other. This is also very pen and papery in the sense of like, if you've played much D&D or other RPGs where all you do is you roll 2 dice and then the DM tells you like in a story way how that kind of is a very exciting thing to do or a very mundane thing to do. I've often played RPGs where people assume that they can choose to do these things first, and it's not just basically about dice rolling.
Yeah.
Last chance, Merrick says to his companions, I don't expect you to come back from this. Blaze shakes her head. Too risky. Who's going to trigger that artifact if you suddenly drop dead of old age? The heroes embrace briefly, then step through the archway. Beyond the archways, the adventurers see an enormous gate rippling with nether energy. Before it stands the form of a young girl bathed in crackling blue flames. The catcher laces up the enruined boots they received from the artifact collector Ignatius Mordred. I hope these things work, she says. Impressive, the young girl speaks directly to their minds while idly playing with the ball of crackling blue energy. Join me and I'll let you live. The catcher shakes her head and taps the heels of her boots together, emitting a low hum. Appreciate the invite, kid, but we had something else in mind. So this is our last fight.
Yeah, it's saying quest objective, so...
So I will do... Oh no, he failed. Good.
But not the biggest event difficulty out of all this, right?
No, probably not. I go balanced here. Ooh, okay, and then we can just go precise. Oh no, we want to go cautious. Just. Okay. You think your puny weapons can harm Alicia, overlord of the Nether? The child shrieks. Lycacha shrugs. Guess we'll never know because it's not our plan. She stomps one of her boots quaking to the ground, starting a massive earthquake that brings the mountain down on top of them.
On top of them?
On top of them. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh.
And so the Ravager 4 called the mountain down upon Alicia and her Nether King horde, ending the battle of the mountainfall and once again sealing the flaming gate. The catcher, Merrick Ravager, Thorgrim Bloodborne, and Blaze Evershadow made the bards sing of their heroism unto eternity. And I know what you're thinking at this point. I just want a pint. Right? I've just come here for
I feel like there's no taverning going on.
Yeah.
A new tavern opens its doors to it can.
And this is the story of the Pill and Bug.
That's quite. I'm trying to not be like.
It's quite long, isn't it? Let's be honest.
That was quite a long.
Yeah, But I mean, when we're streaming, obviously we've slowed down, and I read everything and all that kind of stuff, and we talked about it. But you're right, like we're an hour into the stream almost, and we're only just getting to our tavern. So like,
yeah,
I feel like I now know the adventuring system very well. So I guess now what we're going to learn about is the tavern system.
Interestingly, now it says "Welcome to Epic Tavern."
Yeah,
like this is the first thing you've done. I wonder. I'd love to know if like you go back to how this game first released, if that was in there.
Yeah, it would. Well, I would surprise me if not. Like, I think because it's one of those things that I can just imagine they got a lot of feedback saying like this adventuring system's really complicated. I don't know what's going on. What am I supposed to do? Like, so they show so like they're front loaded that system so that you know that's how that works. Because I think that's like, as we're about to see, that's like how a lot of the game actually plays out on a more kind of immediate player interaction level.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, how you grow resources and so on and so forth. But we'll see what the tavern does and so on and so forth. So, expand and improve the rundown tavern you've inherited from your parents. Okay? Protect the realms of Bjor and by cultivating great heroes. So you're running the tavern that Merrick and Lykacha gave you, left you in their wills, basically.
Right. Yeah. So Nacho's a question. So we were kind of like, we've gone through that quite detailed story mode.
Yeah.
And he's asked, how do we make our characters in our games? Do we both work together for one character, or does each character belong to just one of us?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose from my perspective, I guess characterization stuff falls, like quite a large percentage of that falls to me.
Yes, that's in the Dave box. I think, isn't it?
Yeah. But I would say that a bit like, I suppose, like the programming is, you know, and the kind of Unity side stuff is all Sean, but we talk about it. So like when we're talking about the character and story stuff, we are talking about it on a design kind of level of, and like Sean has a huge amount of input to that and is very creative in that space as well. And I suppose in the same kind of way of, well, I might not be able to say, oh, Sean, you need to use that drop down menu to put that thing there in Unity. I might be able to say something like, can we just move it here and have this happen? And then Sean makes that happen. So I guess like the brunt of character design is on me, but Sean's input is a huge part of that process. And
it's like it's about playing to our strengths.
Exactly.
So like that's your like bread and butter, right?
Yeah. Like yes. Trying to, you know, script those moments that we saw in that story mode prologue here, so that like Sean has those moments of, oh god, you know, or that's brutal, or oh no, you know, that's what they're looking for, and what I'm looking for from my characters and my moments as well. And obviously in game writing compared to other kinds of writing, you've got such a reduced time frame in order to generate those moments. You've got to do it incredibly efficiently. So this is the tavern. I can't really move around yet. I think again we're back to the big blue green arrow moment for this. So one of your patrons says info on a potentially lucrative quest. Another quest, Sean.
Another quest.
Yeah, another quest. So we get this screen again. Remember this screen from earlier?
So yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we've kind of like generated that familiarity through that prologue, this kind of system. So new quest to find out, and then we get this kind of thing. So chapter 1, level 1. The tavern has an unfinished basement which could be converted into a wine cellar. Very nice too. It would require the extermination of the ill-tempered rats.
We've got to get. Are you telling me we have to go into the basement and kill rats, Dave? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Are you saying we have to do that in a game that is? Yeah.
Yeah, in an RPG. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. long as we like, there's a knowing nod to that in the Mo, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, but surely there's an adventurer or two who would be up to the task. Now, sometimes there are different objectives you can pursue or alternative ways to accomplish your goals. Make sure to check all the options and choose the path you prefer. So you've got Stomp here, difficulty 8, rewards 120, 100 XP, 25 rep. Might as well get a bit of target practice before heading out on a more dangerous quest. Kill the rats the old-fashioned way, with an excessive display of violence, or we can try and poison them.
Okay.
But interestingly, notice the only thing that really changes is this icon in the middle here.
So it's like what kind of person you've got doing it?
Or you want to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because this is a fighty one, and this is a thinky one.
Yeah.
Okay. Preference?
Yeah. Well, I think House would do the pick your poison, right?
Okay, yep. Okay, so pick your poison. Kill the rats. Rumbo won't take forever. Poisoning young work, I guess, is the way to go. Okay. Now we've got another new patron. Okay, so welcome them. Okay, so we get some friendship points or something. You've made it for a friend. But then we can hire him to add him to our roster. This is Grunson Wolfspawn. New adventurer.
Dave.
Yes, mate.
Is this an idle game?
I don't think so. But I mean, maybe you can tell me otherwise in a moment when we see more of the tavern bit. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing. So I've hired a fire mage. Okay. So we can view it. Can't view it in roster. Okay. So now I've got my first quest and I've got a full roster. So click here again. We're still in that kind of tutorial mode with the big green arrow of let's go and do this. Okay, so we're back to the map, but you'll be glad to know that we're not going very far, right? Like we're just going to the basement.
We're just going to the basement.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we're not going to watch a tragic death of a
small child,
some old person in an orphanage.
Yeah, that will stay with you. Okay, so we can equip some stuff to these people, which I'm assuming is a good thing, and I think it's the stuff we unlocked before.
I just to be clear, and this I can't not just say this. This is not the game I was expecting one bit.
Okay.
It's so we were talking before, and you asked if I knew about this game, and I said, "Oh yeah, I think I've seen it been played." It wasn't this. The game I saw being played was a game where you actually built a pub.
Okay.
And so
You disappointed, Sean?
No. I'm just I guess. It was interesting from the fact that I looked at the store page and I was expecting this to be something that was about a theme hospital thing.
Yeah.
And that's for me, is for us, I think it's quite interesting because we are often talking about how we need to make it clear what our genre is.
Yeah.
Whereas now what I'm getting more of an idle game vibe, more of a clicker. It's more of a Darkest Dungeon, I guess, which is not what I expected. And I think it's an interesting. I'm not saying that makes it bad or wrong or anything. I'm just saying it's I don't know.
So yeah, I'm set forth. Okay, so we're going to clear out some rats from the cellar. Kind of exciting to engage in something so stereotypical. Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so quest objective, the event difficulty is 5, but we're quite low numbers here actually. I was about to poo-poo that, but let's be cautious to start with that. Okay, then we can. Okay, so success takes a few rounds of poison feedings to get them all, but within an hour, the cellar floor is covered in dead rats. Yay! Yay. So, okay, so that's a nice bit of comedy there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They pulled me back in there.
While waiting for the tavern to fill up, the heroes linger outside and spot an old woman, changing a broken wheel on her wagon. They attempt to help, but she unleashes a stunning tirade of profanity at them in response. Heroes walk away, their whole mood ruined. So Grunson gained demoralized, Murgle gained demoralized. On our way
This
back.
feels like it was the original tutorial to me.
Yeah, you might be right.
Now explaining to you those systems, like that's interesting.
But I suppose maybe like people were like, "What is all this balance stuff and all that kind of stuff?" I don't know. So there's not a huge amount here to do other than just notice things. Like it's just a
Divvy Gold.
There's Divvy Gold.
Top left.
Oh, okay. To tavern or party. Okay, so that's interesting. There's no gold to divvy up by the looks of it.
Yeah, because like you're just killing the rats.
Yeah, but that. So I think like the core of this game, from what I've seen and what I looked at people's reviews and things like that, is the interaction between this party stuff, which we've seen a lot of, and this tavern stuff, which we haven't seen very much of yet. Right, so I'm going to try and push us a little bit further forward into the tavern stuff, okay, which is what's kind of happening now. So we get like quite a lot. I think basically the tavern is a lot of menus to start with, at least.
Right.
So, like, rival taverns are coming soon. Like, there's nothing needs repairing. There's no shipments. Okay. There's like a menu. So we have mead here.
Oh, cool.
And porridge, Ardtown porridge.
So is this some weird, like, what's that lemonade stand game?
Oh, I don't know.
That you played in school. Did you play that in school?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I did. Like, it feels like that game, which is like, was on a floppy disk the size of your head.
Nice.
And it feels like a cross between that and Darkest Dungeon. But does Darkest Dungeon have this as well? Aren't you? Who are you in Darkest Dungeon?
So you should play Darkest Dungeon. It's good.
Yeah.
So Darkest Dungeon has two things essentially. It has the town with a bunch of different buildings, which are basically menu screens, and then it has the kind of adventures or dungeons, where you take your party and work through a series of encounters that are either like. We're exactly the same as what our encounters have just been. Like either they're like conversation nodes or they're encounters with enemies. And you're gaining items, you're getting experience. But I suppose like instead of that whole balanced, precise, and all that kind of stuff, it has different moves like attack, defend, heal, that kind of. So yeah, but what is different from Darkest Dungeon? Okay, is that. This stuff, right? So Grunson is thirsty. Click on him to see what he wants to drink. So I'm going to click on him and I can serve him mead, right? Like back green arrow. Here's the drink he wants. We have it in stock. I'm going to click it. Okay, so he's happy. And we get some gold and some reputation. Okay? Same thing for Murgle. She's up for a mead, which is just as
So you're saying this is table service?
Yeah, definitely. But, right, so... You can set up a drink chain. So you combo drinks. As everybody knows, when someone gets in a round in, you want to drink too, right? So you set off a drink chain and you get this timer, which is why it's clicking for those of you who can hear the sound, but also this cog would deplete, right? When you see the symbol, they want to join in on the round, click on the join they join in this combo and you get extra tips and you get service points. All this kind of stuff, right? Okay, so great way to boost the tavern's mood and reputation while earning extra tips. Try and create the longest chains possible to maximize your profit.
That's really cool.
Okay.
Because that makes it feel very different to the quest mode.
Yes. Right? Yeah. So you'll notice now, like our taverns, kind of, this
We've got some people
some
in
more people, right? So I don't know this mode as much, right? Because I haven't played it as much as compared to others. So I don't know if, like, choosing this person over here, because of their distance, I don't know, like, if that really factors in, how much that factors in to see if, like, that would affect my chain. So I'm going to start my chain here, see if I can loop around that way.
Yeah.
So we're going to serve this person mead. Luckily, everybody wants mead.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Do you like mead?
No, mead is horrible.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
Okay. It's way too sweet. Like, if anybody's who hasn't had mead, it's very, very sweet. Even sweeter than, like, cider, I think. So we chained those 3, but didn't get round to this 4th individual. Let's make sure they get a drink. Things we've still got loads of stock. Okay, and there's no chain coming off this person.
Do you think they had this system? When do you think this system came in? The idea of clicking and almost like the timing system.
Oh, I don't know.
I know we have no way of knowing
no,
that.
like
but like it's an interesting. I don't know. To me,
I thought you meant the whole tavern bit. Like, so
even the tavern bit. Surely is that not the way you start with?
I would have thought so. Unless they were like, I want to make you know, a kind of adventuring RPG kind of dungeoneering kind of game, like Darkest Dungeon, and they were like, well, what kind of spin can we give it? Someone said, "Oh, what about a tavern?" I feel like, but I don't know, because I don't know if that's because we've been led so heavily by doing so much prologuing with the adventure mode, but because I was like you, like when I picked this game up for the first time, not that long ago, I was expecting more of this. I was surprised to have to play through the kind of prologue stuff. Because I'm assuming I can just keep, like I've got 14 of these, so why wouldn't I keep giving people beers when I can?
Yeah.
And these 3 love drinking together. That's great. All right. And this guy's still going. Like, so I'm just like gonna keep hitting that.
Is that an orc? Is that why?
Could be. Oh, I can chain over this way. That's good. Oh, I didn't. Oh, why was he unhappy?
Do you have to? Did he not want the same customer? Sorry, the same thing?
Same drink. He didn't want to drink with the other guy, maybe. Oh.
It's a roll. There's a roll, look.
Mm-hmm.
It's a D100 versus 45. So that was just luck. That was just like...
Okay.
There's a lot of randomness here, isn't there?
Yes, I think, yeah.
And it is, I guess, like, so I guess this they know who is buying this game, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, you assume that people who buy this are into this style of randomness and rolling dice.
I would have thought so. Ooh, Murgle can level up. I haven't done this yet. So, 6. So these are the okay. So here's like we're kind of into RPG elements, I suppose.
Yeah.
Adventure focused stuff. So I won't spend too long worrying too much about this, but
yeah. But like, I suppose on the ultimate thing is what, like, we already know that those 3 combat social mind are the 3 challenges we come up against, right? So presumably that's important. So does that mean there's a quest available that kind of?
This one here above.
Oh, it's the yellow exclamation mark.
Yeah,
so I'm guessing.
Yeah. Classic quest stuff. So I'm gonna have a look at what this. This person says, because I think this is.
I'm just gonna go AFK a second. Be right back.
All right. So the tavern gained a level 2. Nice. So 5% service chance, which puts us at 70%, which seems pretty good. Maximum service combo to a max of 4. Okay, so I didn't realize we had a max combo. Still not 100% sure what this icon means. Or is it a new person? I'm Gary, the bard. I welcome this person. Do you have any other attractive ones? No, we do not have attractive people at the Pillbug and the Pill and Bug. Just me and Sean. This bard has... Oh, we can hire the bard. Yeah, bard sounds good. Who doesn't want a bit of singing in a pub, right? Interestingly, the camera keeps changing. Turning round. Why? Ooh, okay, we're at full roster. Okay, so we went with a bard over an assassin. I think that's okay for a pub. But it's interesting that we can't have any more. I'm guessing... Ooh. Oh, no. Okay, so... It looks like I can't hire him again yet. Bit of a shame. Info. Many people view history as something that happened in the past, but it's actually all around us. Nice bit of learning there for you, Sean, to come back to.
Yeah.
So, it does appear that I have a finite number of things that I can and can't do in a given set of interactions.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you mean in a given set of interaction?
Well, like, these guys all had quests for me, like, before.
Yeah.
But I've spent too long, it appears, talking to people.
Yeah, okay.
We've hired a bard, but that meant our roster was full, so I couldn't hire this assassin. Okay. And because I think I spent too long like learning about the bard, it means we can't go on a quest. So I have to end the day, I think.
Oh, you have action points. So like it says last call in 0 action points. I'm guessing.
Oh, that's good spot. Good spot. So I end the day. So we end the day, but we did level up the tavern while you were away.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, these are the quests completed, right? So there's no new quests. So I go next.
So you just click next day. Okay. So it's, yeah, like there's a lot. I guess so. We were talking about early access, right, before we started, because this game has been in early access since 2017. We're like 90% sure, right? It's certainly been in development since then. How do you keep so like we're about to kind of like at some point this year go into an early access with Making It Home, right? And like there's a question of how do you make sure you launch an early access, and there's a couple of things that like worry is probably the wrong word, but like one, I want to make sure that people who buy into early access are getting a good experience. So that they're getting something for their money. That's like number one.
First and foremost, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Secondly, then, how do you? It's important to keep people engaged with your game through that early access process, because like you want to. Like it's kind of like there's lots of reasons for doing early access. And like one is kind of probably the main reason is to get feedback as we're going.
Yeah.
Like we've already got some amazing feedback from the beta, which has really changed the direction of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Like hugely, and it's been great, and we want to continue that. And the other thing is it's a way of kind of getting people in and kind of building some momentum. That's very hard when you don't have the budget for advertising and various other things.
Yes.
So how do you keep people coming back? And originally I thought this game was much more like a sim game, like a Sim Hospital or something, right? Not Sim Hospital, what am I talking? Theme Hospital.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And I thought, oh, okay, so a game like that is like a sandboxy building game, like as long as there's pieces for people to be creative with, that will keep people in. But it's very much not that. And it seems like a lot of this content is very bespoke, like it's very handmade is the way I can like all of those stories and stuff have to be written very specifically.
Yeah.
And these quests are very specific, and it must be very challenging. Like the amount of content, this is a very content heavy game.
Sure. Yeah.
I would say. Does that
Yeah,
is
I
that
think
clear?
that's fair.
Like,
I mean, I guess what I don't know for sure, because I guess I haven't played enough of it yet, is to know like how similar each game experience is. Like obviously playing through the prologue every time, I don't know yet if there's a point where you get to where you can be like, I'm going to start a new pub, I'm going to start a new save or whatever, and you don't have to play the prologue.
It doesn't even feel like I'd want to start a new pub, because you're doing it like it feels like
there might well be stuff that like on that first day, for instance, I hired the bard instead of the assassin. Now, like that could be like the biggest rookie error anyone ever makes with this game. I don't know. And there was that suggestion that during the prologue, what you do will unlock stuff. And I think, in fact, on my first prologue playthrough, I did a little bit better on one of those events, and it did unlock it would say, you know, this character will see you later kind of thing. Yeah. We didn't do that this time. But I don't, like you said, I don't know if that's worth going back and starting again.
I just want to. I feel like I always need to stress this is that I'm not trying to be negative. I'm interested. I'm not saying that this is all bad stuff. It's just
No,
it's very
we're interested
interesting.
in like I think that's the question. Like the question you've asked is like how do you keep people invested in an early access process when keeping people invested in a game at any point in this, even after release is a challenge, isn't it? Like, so it's
Yeah,
not something
I
people.
think I'm just like I'm impressed and amazed by how much content is here already. Like, well, it's how much. Like, I don't how. What's the best way of explaining that kind of handmade thing that I said? Handmade isn't the. I guess it's like saying scripted, isn't it? It's like this is all has to be written and
Yeah.
how do I like it's not the same as like so we're making it home.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were looking actually at the data from the beta before we jumped on, and like the day we noticed like the day we released a patch where there was new panels for people to play with, that brought people back.
Yeah.
And like the aim is if you add one new panel that we're trying to make it so they work with many of them, so it like feels like you're getting more. Like we make one more fat panel, but we're getting more bang for our buck when we do that.
Yeah. Yes.
Whereas I feel like here they'll have the challenge of like wanting to add that new quest with the new story, and that's all very hard. That's all a lot of work because the amount of writing that was in that prologue, like
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. I really ballsed it up already, by the way, just
yeah,
in terms of like thinking about ballsing up. So there was a thing on the menu while we were talking about like a damage to our tavern.
yeah.
And I didn't repair that before.
How did you take damage?
It just happened. I'm assuming it was like it's just a
Wear
thing
and
that
tear.
happens. Yeah, it was like it was a dirty kitchen, right? So someone hadn't
Okay,
cleaned
right,
up,
yeah.
right? So tavern health. Oh, okay.
Because this almost feels like a virtual pet.
I suppose so. Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's it. That's like for me, it's given me more of a kind of idle game vibe because, and I like idle games. Like just to be clear, because it is a lot of you clicking. Again, I'm not trying to be down on this. Like it sounds like we are, but I often like as game designers, we will play a game and kind of almost and try and as much as possible strip away all of like the aesthetic and get right down to what if we made an abstract board game that was the same mechanics as this, what would it be?
Yeah.
And like so it's a lot of kind of clicking on buttons and watching these like meters going up in a way. Like you've got that big meter in the middle, 6 action points. You've got 6 things you can do.
Yeah.
And then they've all got like these percentage chances. It's giving you lots of interesting choices, right?
Yes.
Because you can only serve so many people at one time. And at some point you can close early. Is there going to be some benefit for you doing that at some point?
There could well be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's just glad I talked. So I'm just trying to get to the next quest quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're out of stock of mead.
That's not good.
Yeah, they don't like it if you refuse them. Why did I do it again? Okay, so that's why you close early, because you run out of stock.
Okay.
So, but they don't like you closing action. So this has not gone well, right?
No,
this has not been a good early day in the tavern. We're going to try and get this back with this quest. So we're going to send everybody on it. Everyone's kind of pissed off anyway. So just to keep you updated on this quest, Sean, we now have zombie rats because we killed a bunch of rats.
Oh, nice.
See what they did there.
Yeah.
Okay, so oh god, everyone's demoralized. Okay, Anyone get a bad feeling about this trip? Okay, so we just have to kill a rat swarm. Come on, everyone. We can do this. We can do this. Yay! Alive or dead, rats are rats, and this pack just got itself killed yet again. But not until one of the critters bites half a toe off Garrick. What kind of lunatic necromancer goes around reanimating rats? Garrick grumbles, examining his mangled digit.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, approaching the pill and bug. That sounds good, doesn't it? The pill and bug.
Yeah, it does.
Guess it's time to head back to the tavern, Garrick says. Grunson raises a brow. We're already here, you stooge. Okay, so epic moment. Garrick lock. Everybody's demoralized. There's no gold to go around. So, right, I'm not going to balls up the tavern and you read this. Quest complete. You successfully guided a group of adventurers to victory.
Sweet man.
Sweet man. So look, now we've got damage, right? Okay, so and that damage causes moderate chance of complaints or slight chance.
Okay,
of complaints.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to. We've got plenty of gold, so we're going to repair those things. Okay, we are out of stock of mead, so we need to go to manage goods. Order mead.
It really is reminding me of that lemonade stand game.
Okay. Okay, so we want some stale bread as well. I've got lots.
Why would you order stale bread? Like what? Like I feel like you order bread and maybe it becomes stale.
Okay. So I've ordered them, but I don't think. Okay, so new expansion available. Wine cellars available for purchase. Manage expansions. Extra wine racks increase space. Allow for crib. Think option. Wine cellar. Not enough gold. Oh, I just spent all our gold. But that's okay because like we need stock to. To actually serve people to get gold.
So the other thing I'm kind of noticing is that like it feels like you're still being introduced to new stuff and new systems, and like you're never really given a chance to not have a new system thrown at you, right?
Well, I don't know because the quest system was okay, right? Like
yeah. Is that person in your party? Yeah, Garrick is.
Bard, yeah. Good at social and fighting. Okay, so these all people want drinks, and the thing is, I don't have any mead, right? So like, if I click on them, they're gonna get pissed off with me.
So you better not. What? So basically, you're standing at the bar.
Yeah.
Like not making eye contact and like accept with people who look like they want porridge.
Yeah. Everybody wants porridge. I'm your barkeep. What does this politician want? Oh, okay. So he wants to join. Interesting, the politician class. He wants to join, but I decline, and he won't like that.
No.
So let's. Got a new quest. More rats. We are becoming local exterminators, basically. By the looks of it. Okay, but I can also get this quest over here. As a cluster of zombie with a zombie rat trade, even the best of heroes sometimes get dinged up or worse in the line of duty. Wounds will slowly heal on their own, but you can accelerate heroes' recovery.
That feels like tutorial again, right?
Yeah, I think
it still feels like this was the tutorial and they added that thing at the start.
It wouldn't surprise me. No, because you want beer.
It's really I'm kind of the thing that's really I think there's lots of really cool stuff in this. Like, I don't think it's the kind of game I would play because I'm not into this many numbers in games. Weirdly enough.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That surprises me.
I know. Yes, it does many people, but I'm not a big but then I spend a lot of my time doing like numbers is what I do for my day job. So
fair enough. So we're gonna we got all these thirsty customers, and we're gonna close early.
We're just closing. It's all right. But yeah, come back tomorrow probably. Yeah. So like, what was I gonna say? That prologue just seems so weird because I'm am I wrong? Like what it feels very out of place in a way.
I don't know. Like I get what you mean, and I mean I think like if you were playing this on your own and not streaming it, you would have raced through it, right? Like maybe you would have read everything and it would be fine and stuff, but like you probably would have done it very quickly.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of doing these quests like super quickly, right? Like
but I feel like the prologue was much more complicated than these quests.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was yes, it was. Okay, so we got inspired. That's good because we were demoralized.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I can expand the captions to the next day. So, like, I think you would go through this quite quickly, but yeah, I mean, it feels like the prologue is so heavy on the quest side of things and not heavy enough on the tavern side of things, perhaps.
Yeah.
That may be better.
Yeah.
So we've now got tons of mead. Like, so luckily, everything was delivered.
Yeah.
Right? So now,
is there a chance on that as well?
Don't think so. I think if I go to manage facilities, do I have the gold? So let's by serving a bunch of hopefully chaining them.
It does really feel like a meter game. It's like kind of almost like a Farmville like thing.
Yeah.
So what do you think we can learn from this in terms of early access?
Ooh, a good question. So, I mean, I don't know about specifically early access. There's a lot, I think, that I feel I'll take away from it as seeing a game that, like, it appears, I don't really know metrics to back this up, but it appears to be doing very well in early access, and, you know, people are playing it, and, like, it's very active, and, you know, they're making changes very regularly, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I was saying to you before we started streaming, like, there's a lot of weird crossovers that I wasn't expecting with Making It Home, whether it comes to things like menu screens, like the opening, like, cutscene to use that word, very similar to the Making It Home one in the sense that there's like a splash screen of art and like text overlaid and things like that I wasn't necessarily expecting this game to be similar with. And like structurally, like a bit like what you were saying, like with these different like with the prologue and how heavy it was with the adventuring game and so on and so forth. Like if you imagine this is the Making It Home blueprint mode is the pub bit, and then the driving your vehicle is the adventure bit. Like there's two very different modes to our game and so on and so forth. And like I think the UI is quite similar in some respects. Like it has that similar kind of feel, like kind of slight juicy, cartoony, mobile-y, gamey kind of feel.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that at all in any kind of bad way. Like it's you know, it's a style, right? It's a style and it's an approach, and it works for a lot of games. So, like, what I take away from it is that it is a game that's been in early access for a very long time. Well, we'll see, it struck us as quite a long time, shall I say.
Yeah.
And, like, I was pleased at how polished it was compared to where our game is at the moment. In my perception of what polish is.
Yeah.
So I found that quite reassuring as a developer.
Yeah.
You know, this is a bigger game than ours. It's a bigger team. It's got a lot more going on, but like I actually felt kind of reassured by what's going on.
As in, this is achievable.
Yeah,
in terms of the polish.
in like our kind of version of it, to our extent, etc. Like,
yeah.
And that was, you know, I think there's some, like, it's easy as a developer to see what other people are doing and going, oh, you know, I'm never going to be able to do that. Like, that's better than what I've, you know, we're never going to be able to achieve this X, Y, and Z. We can't have this. We can't have that. We can't manage this, and so on and so forth. But actually, like, I was pleased to see, like, as I said, there's more going on here. It's more complicated, but, you know, like, I actually thought we stood up quite well, and I was pleased by that. And I think as a developer, there are so many ways of getting down about what you're doing that it's important to point out when you feel relatively positive about what you're doing.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to take a look at that roadmap if possible.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
Yeah.
If I just log off, it saves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will that open a browser?
It actually opens. It does, yeah. But it opens a public Trello board.
Oh, nice.
So, you know that.
Could you switch OBS to it so we can have a look? Yeah.
Okay, you seeing that?
Yeah.
Okay, so about this board, yeah, each card represents gameplay goal, which one's priority, team's current sprint.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
So it's quite a big,
wow. Yeah.
big Trello board, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like we've kind of got one of these, right?
We do.
This is why you were like, oh, the Trello board.
Yeah. That's
we
why I was excited because we
already have one.
We have done this. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So again, like in that way as well, like it's like obviously this game is much bigger scale than what we're doing. It's, you know, it's got lots going on, but the fact that you and I have got that and part of the making it home development, like I guess it's seeing a game in early access is doing some of the stuff that we want to do, and it's you know, doing it in a way that I think is quite positive. Whereas I think some of the other early access games we played, there hasn't been quite as much of that.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's been helpful for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a good place to end tonight's stream. So this is Epic Tavern. We did get to pull some pints eventually, you know, for our grog.
It's just like completely, sorry, like it's just not the game I expected in any way. Like, it's, I know you're about to close, but I like, because we talk about like how you like defining your genre and how important that is. And like, what's the genre of this game?
What is the genre of this game?
It's a management game.
But they said, I mean, it's if you go to the Steam tags and stuff, like, which is obviously something we're interested in, well, probably more than most people. It is simulation.
Yeah.
It's
simulation, early access indie, RPG is the main one. Adventure, early access indie, RPG, adventure management, strategy, fantasy, comedy, interactive fiction, narration, choices matter, simulation, story rich, funny, epic, tabletop.
Tabletop's interesting.
Masterpiece. So a lot of story, like, so actually, like, if I'd have spent any time on this store page, I probably would have known. No, but these screenshots where you see the tavern immediately say to me, this is a game where I'm building a tavern and I'm deciding where the chairs go.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is at all.
No.
Yeah. But it's so interesting. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just like, that is an interesting thing to me. Because like they like, how's the full version going to differ? more story content, more quests, longer quest chains, procedural quests, more loot, more characters, more classes, like
So it's more
inter-character
content.
relationships. It's more content,
More
yeah.
content on existing, perhaps.
Yeah. Enhanced tavern and tavern economy and business simulation. Yeah, it's cool. No, it's good. Sorry, I will.
No, so there we go. So that's
Yeah.
So I will. So yeah, that's Epic Tavern, developed by Hyperkinetic. I will be playing more during the lockdown. Pretty much anytime I want to go to the pub, I think I will.
Yeah.
I will open up Epic Tavern and go to the pub, even if. And I'm
So
going to see.
You will be playing a lot then.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I now own and run the Pill and Bug. So you know that's I'll see everyone at opening time, which I guess for me will probably be 10 a.m. Is that okay for everyone?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Where
thanks,
can
Dave.
people find us on the webs?
They're all sorts of places. But if you go to pillbug.zone, you can find links to everywhere where we are. And we're currently working on a game called Making It Home. And if you haven't already added it to your wish list, that would really help us right now. And if you know anyone who likes the kind of games that we're making, if you could let them know about our games, that would be amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Everybody.
See you next week.